Welcome to In the Moment, where we dig a little deeper into a recent play with one of the people who was right there. Today, we're talking to Niko Hansen, who provided the game-winning assist against Seattle in the 80th minute last Saturday. Niko, welcome. How's it going?
Thanks for having me. It's going good. How are you?
Good. I feel like I see you all the time now. I've talked to you several times via Zoom in the last week. So
Yeah, we talked about that, coffee in the morning thing. I think that should be a show too. That should be a segment.
absolutely, I'm all for that. So, before we're gonna look at the game-winning goal against Seattle last weekend. Before we get into that, I did want to start before we watch the clip. I wanted to ask you about coming into the game, as opposed to starting a game, and the sort of mental adjustment it takes to sort of be ready on the bench, and then what kind of stuff, the coaches are telling you as you go in, as far as what they want to see out of you when you come into a game.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking about this question this morning. I had someone ask me the same, and I think it gives you a little bit more, especially if you're paying attention, like a sense of preparation, because you can kind of see where there's different holes or different areas of the game where you're like, oh, like this guy would do this right now or that. So I think coming into it, I was telling myself that this back three is getting tired. They look tired. They look slow. They look like they're so. For me, it was like make them even more uncomfortable. And yeah, so I think that was kind of like the thing I was getting told by the coaches too. He's like, going behind and make it like be dangerous. And I was like, yeah, I see it too. So yeah.
It's one of those things that I think, and head coach Adrian Heath has talked about this before, from the sidelines, it can be a little tough to sort of grasp the entire tactical situation because you're at a level with the game. Like all of us watching at home, or if you're watching the stadium, you sort of get this nice bird's eye view where you can see things, but you're having to assess things through other players. Is that a difficult element of reading the game?
No, I don't think so. I think when you're off the field, you can kind of see it because sometimes you're not even like looking at where the ball is. You could see more of what sometimes the camera can't see, like the opposite side of the field. And I think maybe as you get more experienced, you're not always looking at, I'm looking at, okay, if I'm on the opposite side in this moment, so I'm not kind of looking at what's happening on the opposite side at times.
Yeah, that makes total sense. All right, so we're just going to watch through the clip to begin with, and then we'll run it back and we'll sort of take it step by step. So here we go.
Lod has somehow provided a little bit more of a direct speed threat through those center backs, more than we saw from Unu. Great work. Hansen. It's deflected. It's Lod! Have they slain the dragon? Minnesota leads Seattle late.
Robin Lod didn't let the no call on the last play affect him in his movement and being available on the back post. A nice little 1-2 there. Look at the overlapping run. Nobody goes with Niko Hansen, and he curls the ball around the back line, takes a deflection off of Yamar, but Robin Lod make a living on the near and the back post. Just putting yourself in the right spot at the right time, and a tap in with the left. Love the overlapping run on the outside by Niko Hansen, and the nice little move there to play the ball down the line.
The nutmeg pass from Renault.
All right, so we'll get into all of the stuff that they're talking about there. But first of all, do you ever get tired of watching clips of your team scoring?
Never.
It's always fun to go back. When you guys break down video, do you get video with commentators and stuff like that? Do you get to hear what they're saying, or is it just without sound?
Yeah, we're just looking at whatever's happening. We don't have the sound on there.
I see. Okay. So let's go back to the beginning of this here. First thing that happens, you're stepping in there and DJ forces that turnover that comes back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's your first thought as you're there with the ball at that moment?
I think we have a numbers there advantage. You see guys kind of pushed up. That 75 right there is one of their midfielders. So right now, and they have another midfielder on the left over there next to the referee. So I think for me, it was like, you can see I take my touch and I turn to go forward right away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And as I got the pressure, I was like, okay, deal with what you have. But I think here, like, I look forward right away. I see Ray's open right there. And I'm like, we gotta go forward. Like I said, like, these guys are tired. He's in a good position in between lines right now. And I'm like, okay, make the pass there and see what happens from there.
Yeah, it looks like what are you checking over your back shoulder there? That was one thing.
Just the pressure. I think after I kind of take the touch away from him, the guy who's closest to me, not the guy right now behind me, but I think it's John Matinho.
Okay.
Leiva's right behind me. I think to look to see if Zhao's still with me. And I see that I don't have him there. So then I make the pass to Ray right away. I think I'd already seen Ray's pass, but I just wanted to make sure that that guy was kind of coming in and tackling me.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's Jimmy Madranda who's pushing up. So his decision to not stay back on Ray sort of is what kind of opens up that option for you there.
Yeah.
This was also, I was noticing that it seemed like Ray was spending a lot of time drifting out a little bit wider, getting out on the wings. I mean, I noticed it maybe more on the right side because that was closer to the booth where I was. But was that something that had been talked about just as far as getting wide like that to attack Seattle?
No, I think at times Ray does drift a little bit more wide, and I think it happens on both sides. But I think it allows him to kind of gives him a little bit more space because now if a center midfielder does go with him, there's way more space in the midfield. So I think at times, like for example, in this position, like who's with Ray? Like I'm not really sure on who's gonna. So at this point, the center back's like, all right, I got to get back to him, and like that gives the opportunity for another guy to be open. Like I think is that DJ that's pushed up now?
Yeah.
So DJ is in a position making it difficult for that even the other center back to figure out where to go.
Right, because he's in between those two defenders there.
Yeah.
And so then you're obviously overlapping around the outside there.
Yeah.
Nobody is going with you. At what point are you like, this is great. This is fantastic.
I'm yelling right now. I can already see I'm yelling at Ray right now. Like if you can hear the video of the game, I'm saying Ray. And I think that's why he doesn't even look. Like he already knows that I'm going to be there.
You got to use all the senses, right? So like he just hears you, right?
Yeah.
And we got to talk about that nutmeg, which is it's so Ray. I feel like
definitely. You say sometimes it's luck, but I was like, that just happens with Ray.
Yeah. So now that you're picking up the ball in open space, like, what's your first thought on this touch? Like, what are you looking for in the box?
I think first touch you can see it's forward. Like I'm not going down the line still, and I'm not trying to find it right away. I noticed that the guys are pretty much marked. And so I kind of take my space, I think. I'm kind of waiting for this center back, Yamar, closest to me to make a decision. And so now he makes his decision. And I think at that point, I see Rob pull away. And that's just like easy pass to the back post. But I think what I didn't want to do was get it too close to the goalkeeper. And I think that's where Yamar kind of gets a little bit of a touch on it. So I was kind of like literally playing it right off of his foot, which actually ended up like happening. Yeah.
Yeah, that ended up, I mean, it looks like even if he hadn't got his foot there, it was still gonna get to Robin, and it would be fine, but it does pop it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see this. I mean, I think this goes a little bit to the tired legs on the defense. Obviously Seattle was missing some people, maybe like not everybody is clicking exactly, but it seems like Arriaga here is trying to hold Rob offside, like is trying to like stop up, but Yamar keeps going. And so there's sort of that perfect gap for getting a ball to a guy who's offside from his defender. I mean, who's beyond his defender, but is still being held onside. I mean, is that, so much of obviously in soccer, you're planning for things and trying to make certain things happen, but also you got to kind of take what the game gives to you. Right. And so this is one of those situations where, like you said, you come in, there's some tired legs out there. It's a good idea to just push them and try to force them into some bad positions.
Yeah, and I think that's where you see Madranda out because he's like too tired to follow me in on that one after the overlap. Yeah.
Yeah, this is also another thing I thought this pointed out really well is, Robin plays winger a lot, sort of that attacking midfield role. Last season, he played that false nine a lot. And I think that here you really see some of his good sort of forward instincts as he sort of, goes towards Arriaga. Like Arriaga is checking him.
Sees him here, sees him right there.
Yeah.
And then that's when he goes the other way.
Yeah, he peels off that shoulder, and I think that's, again, I think that Lod had a, I mean, I don't know how much you followed, but he came in the middle of the season, right out of, sort of being on vacation after the end of his season in Europe, and so his first half season was a little rough, but obviously he's grown into it, and that flexibility to be able to sort of have some of those forward instincts and that ability to like pull off moves like that, and then also be a distributor and cut in from the wing. It just gives the team a lot of options there.
Yeah, I would agree.
So the last few things I wanted to talk about, first of all, how would you rate Robin's bow and arrow celebration as a goal celebration?
I think that's a good one. I think that suits him. Being up, Finland, there's a lot of nature and they're outdoorsy, kind of maybe a little bit ode to like the Viking times. We had a good long conversation about that already. So.
Yeah.
That's for him. You can already see me. Look at this. Before the goal even going in, look at me celebrating. Yeah, I already know. I once the ball is there and I see the first bounce, I'm like, yep, that's going in.
Yeah, that was one of my other that was the last thing I wanted to end with. That's my favorite thing. As soon as that ball hits you, like your arms go
yeah,
like it's going in.
And then I'm like, all right, let me go celebrate with him. And then he went around the other way.
Yeah, you went in front of the net, and he went behind the net to go celebrate with the guys warming up. So you sort of missed out on your celebration there.
Yeah, that's all right.
But it's good when it goes in like that. You don't want to be that guy like Nick Young celebrating the 3-pointer like before it goes in, and then it doesn't. All right. So. Well, Niko, thanks again for talking to us. Once again, congrats on the win. It's very exciting. You guys have a pretty busy schedule coming up here, but I expect good things at Allianz Field this week.
Yeah, us too. Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Steve. We'll see you.